The dream is real. Yeah. Can I get a standing ovation for the authentic voice of culture? We are TKBS, and I am your lifestyle specialist, Kenny Burns, baby. TKBS Nation, how was your weekend? You good? Me? I don't know if it was assault or not, but I was gargling before the show, and Tiffany said some wild shit to me. So I posted on my stories, but I want to say it on the show. I gargled. And get on the mic, Tiffany. What'd you say after I finished gargling?
I said it sounds like I'm in your throat.
Pause. Violent pause. I mean, can I get ready for the show in peace? Huh? But ladies and gentlemen, I had a great week. Other than that, vicious attack from my right hand. Jesus. I was in LA, like I told you on the last episode. Got back on Tuesday night. Big shout out to Kenya Barris, Lala, Trevor Jackson, Kim Kardashian group chat coming soon. And I don't want to address this, but I have to. This is the last time, too. Get out my DM. I didn't kiss nobody and nothing. That was a joke. I am married to a black woman, and my profession is not acting. So there's no way I can literally, you know what I'm saying, without doing Broadway and being out here like Denzel Washington for 52 years acting before I kiss somebody on screen. Unless they paying a lot of money, then we're gonna have, what's that movie called? Inappropriate, Indecent Proposal. Get that bag, Jess. So I get back late on Tuesday night. So the next day, you know, I'm just in my feelings. I'm thinking about acting again. Kenya and I had some great conversations. We will be doing some great things together soon. So stay tuned for that. But I get a call from my wife. She says, Kenny, do you want to go to Nashville tonight to celebrate Chris's birthday? I'm like, ludicrous? Hell yeah. Let's roll out, roll out, roll out. Yeah. I was ready to go. We got on the flight that night at 9:35 p.m. We landed in Nashville at 9:45 p.m. Quick flight, right? No, motherfucker, it was on Central Time. Went back an hour. We land, go straight to the Soho House. I wouldn't tell you why I was there, but that's why I like to stay in Nashville. If you're not a member, you can't stay there. But we get to the Soho House. When I tell you the man rented the theater out so that we could do an advanced screening of Jordan Peele's new movie, Him. That's right. It starred Marlon Wayans, Tyreek Withers. Matter of fact, Tyreek look white, but Tyreek, you know his daddy black, or his mama black, because Tyreek with a Q is special. Big shout to that brother. He killed this role. And when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the cinematography, the cast, ladies and gentlemen, he had Guap Dad 4000 in his joint. Tierra Whack, Julia Fox was in this thing. But all these people played necessary characters that made this one of Jordan Peele's best films ever. Yes, he's done Get Out. What's the other one? Us. He's done some amazing movies, but this one is the best in my opinion, and it comes out this Friday, September 19th. Make sure your face is in the place. And I also want to give a special shout out to the director, because when I tell you the visual stimulation through the entire movie was amazing. Big shout to Justin Tipping for that amazing visual experience. And I gotta talk about Ludacris, y'all, because we get there for the movie. The man has some 20-year-old wine waiting, popcorn, some chocolate chip cookies with some fucking salt sprinkled on them that taste like they was made right then and there. But he's an exceptional host. Y'all think I'm an incredible host? Christopher Bridges, and I called him Christopher several times. I'm gonna tell you about that momentarily. But we literally had an amazing experience. I'm like, this is a great way to set my dog's birthday off. You know what I'm saying? We toasted at the end of the movies because we ended up watching Weapons 2. Y'all should check out Weapons. This movie Weapons starring the girl from Ozark. I forget her name. Big shout to her. It was interesting. I don't think it should have followed Him because Him was so outstanding. We probably should have watched Weapons first. You dig what I'm saying? But check that out. And if your aunt wants to come stay with you, I suggest you vet that bitch. I'm sorry. I suggest you vet your auntie. Because this aunt in Weapons, she took mind control and possession to another level. But y'all gotta check that out. But anyway, the next day, ladies and gentlemen, we had pool day. Yeah, we had pool day. Got a cabana, was laying out, had some pepperoni pizza. Yes, I ate pork, fuck you. And some picantes. Oh, You ain't ever had a picante? You better get you a friend or a member at the Soho House. When I tell you the picantes had me going, so I'm drunk before dinner. I just want to tell everybody in advance. And big shout to Nicole, who does my wife's hair on occasion. We was having this whole debate on who is more stylish, Washington, D.C. or the 757. We're just gonna give you all of Virginia. And of course, you know DC won. Big shout to Nicole though. But anyway, we get ready for dinner, ladies and gentlemen, and we were going to the world famous Bourbon Steakhouse atop the JW Marriott. Oh, the food is amazing. Upon walk-in, we see Fawn Weaver, Victoria Butler, Kate Jerkins, my team over there at Uncle Near's. Big shout to Uncle Near's. Stay down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do not get worried. Everything's gonna be all right. By the way, I know y'all been not trying to ask me nothing. It's kind of weird. Nobody has asked me about the Uncle Near's situation. Not one person. It's crazy. Because y'all know I'm a defend Fawn and what she's built. That's why.
Period.
But anyway, we walk in there, we see them first. We go sit down. The food, ladies and gentlemen, is coming out. I mean, this man was ordering everything under the sun, but there was this particular wine, ladies and gentlemen. This boy don't play about his red wine. He like white wine, but he know I love red. So anytime I come around, he don't pull out the white. He always pulls out the red. And this particular red, I posted on my stories. When I tell you the wine aficionados went crazy, it was a 2005 Chateau Margaux Premier Grand Cru Classé Grand Vin. And I ain't gonna hold you. Had me speaking in tongues. Singing Kentucky. I'm talking about I was in my feelings. I'm already off the Bacantes. I now have some 2005 red wine. Yeah, I'm floating down the stairs when it's time to leave. We left through the kitchen. I'm going through that motherfucker like, you know, the pimp coming down the stairs and that mean I was floating. We get downstairs, the surprises don't stop. It's this man's birthday. I'm thinking dinner's enough. I'm drunk. I know we said we was going to the Nashville Strip, which they call Nash Vegas, but he got a party bus waiting for us downstairs. Tiffany, you ever been on a party bus? I have never been on a party bus with the sides of the bus, the windows gone, speakers, so people outside can hear the music. So we outside, he doing a whole celebratory dance. Go Luda, go Luda, go Luda, go Luda. Yeah, so he doing his dance. We all taping him, celebrating him. Everybody at the JW Marriott starting to come outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? So we cause a little uproar. We get on the bus. When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the party was just beginning. Now, mind you, as I continue to tell the story, remember, I'm drunk. We get on the bus, we go down the street, make a left, and when I tell you we turn onto the main strip where all these clubs are, you know, every country singer got a club down there. So we going up and down the street. He's performing for free. I'm on the mic hyping the crowd up. They running to the bus. They touching his hand, taking pictures, this, that. When we left that motherfucker, Tiffany, I promise we was on every Nashville site. Ludacris reported in the middle of the city doing his thing. And when I tell you we had a time on that bus, the bus ends. I'm thinking, I'm sleepy. I want to go to sleep. I had on them 2-inch St. Laurent heels. You saw that outfit, silk, everything, St. Laurent. I was outside. My wife and I were on that thing, dropping it low. You seen that picture of Jessica over the weekend. She got them knees still, huh? So we get off this bus and get on another, like, little smaller vehicle, like a Sprinter. I'm like, where we going? He said, we're going to Jason Aldean's club. Now, mind you, I've seen Entertainment Tonight 211 times when they in Nashville. And they always showing these amazing clubs that these country singers own. And I want to see it. So I'm drunk and I'm even more excited. So we exit the Sprinter thingy, bus thingy, because it's a new, different Sprinter bus thingy, not the one we was performing and turned up in the long strip. We get out this one and we go in this door. We go up these stairs. Walk in the club. It's 20,000 people in this club. So I don't know what happened. I got possessed by the spirit of a host. You know, I immediately told the man to go get me the mic. He brings me back the mic. I say, Chris, you going to perform? He like, yeah. I motherfucking follow Chris. He jumped off the table, goes. I'm like, damn, you know, Chris is a superstar. He's my friend. So when I'm around him, I'm just enjoying his company, family time. You dig what I'm saying? But I be forgetting the niggas got 17 Fast Furious 5s, okay, and 27s, okay? And he just is a real superstar, performing to this very day, getting a mint to show up and perform songs he did 20 plus years ago. But we go to the stage. He gets up on the thing. Immediately, the dude asked me, what should he play? I said, say less. I take over the DJ thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm pointing the motherfucker, putting in the thing. So we did a whole performance, got up out of that joint, went to Gin and Juice. I'm assuming it's owned by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. They brought us out a cake. Big shout to the host. They were very hospitable. We didn't eat that cake though. We didn't know who made it. So we cut it up and we gave it out to the crowd. Big shout to y'all. I'm sure it tastes great. My sons would have loved it. Actually, Tiffany, it was a cookie cake. So big shout to them. We had a great time, y'all. So happy birthday to all the Virgos out there, especially my dog, the most humblest king in this industry of ours. Ludacris, you deserve your flowers and more, my brother. All right, now it's time to get into episode 153, What Rage? For the life of me, I don't understand why so many white men are expressing so much rage. What rage, sir? You've been afforded every opportunity and advantage your whole life. What are you actually mad at? That's the real question. What are you actually mad at? And I have a thought I'm gonna share at the end of this rant, but I wanna get into this conversation and break down a series of events and videos that have been posted since this recent assassination. Tiffany, there's a clip by Shahid King Bolson. Can you play that for the nation for me?
I'm going to talk about this boy, Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah. Him getting shot in Utah makes him, I believe, American number 18,533 who got shot in the U.S. this year, shot and killed. And I think that there were 3 more people who were killed, shot and killed in Colorado, just over the mountains, within hours of his shooting. And all the flags in America are going to fly half-mast, not for those 18,335 other victims, but they're going to fly half-mast for Charlie Kirk. That's just an observation. You can do with it what you will. I'll be honest, when I first heard that he had been shot, I made a joke about it on X. Because frankly, I'm just as used to theatrics coming out of America as I am used to gun violence coming out of America. And I thought that theatrics seemed more likely in this case. But when I did learn that he died, I deleted my post. I deleted it out of respect, not for him, but for the severity and for the solemnity of the judgment that he has now proceeded to. Because everything that he ever said and everything that he ever did that harmed anyone, well, he's going to answer for that. He's going to answer for that right now in his meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the heaviness of that meeting is disturbing to any of us who believe in it. But we'll talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, okay? First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this, but we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. And for myself personally, as a Muslim and as a critic of Western so-called civilization, I know that Charlie Kirk himself would most likely have officially anyway considered me to be his enemy. And as far as I'm concerned, any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job.
Child, don't let that go over your head. Now, there were a lot of people over the last week that believe heavily in what this man just said. They were going to the internet. They were spewing all type of hate and rhetoric, and rightfully so on a lot of levels. Right? But when you think about deaths in the United States of America, at the point of this man's video, the day, that number stands true to the day he made this video. When you think about that, and you think about how nothing else was brought up, and this kind of like took over our worlds. Now, I don't think someone should be assassinated because of their beliefs. I don't. But I also don't think an openly racist talking head should receive the honors of a true patriot. That respect and honor is deserving of someone who put their lives on the line, believing in and protecting the rights and lives of all Americans. Not just the ones you think deserve it. This man that they're celebrating, that they're holding up, he was not that. His rhetoric, in which he campaigned on for years, was divisive, disrespectful, and dangerous.
Facts.
And even after y'all found out it was a white man, y'all doubled down and continued with all the separatist, race-baiting energy. Y'all really want us to be y'all enemy. You waited for hours upon hours to release probably what you knew before you released it to the public.
Message.
To only say it was one of y'all. And you, yes, you are the ones who flood our communities with these guns and drugs. You, yes, you are the ones who popularize the worst of our music and reward it to keep us in mental bondage.
Come on, Jesus.
And by the way, we don't own or manufacture the military grade weapons that are available to kids.
Amen.
Amen.
We don't allow the drugs to come over our borders. We don't own the algorithm or distribution that continues to push death, murder, and misogyny. But through it all, we still, and I'm talking about us black and brown people that you continue to marginalize and systemically put us behind the 8 ball. We still haven't become the terrorists you want us to be, and we've definitely not fought back the way we could. And y'all hate that.
Facts.
And shit, y'all hate even more that your sons and daughters still love us. They still emulate us. You've tried to overly populate the music sphere, our music sphere, with all this nastiness, the worst of us, in all honesty. Your kids love it. They feel bad for us even more. They are drawn to us even more, which shows you we are God's children. We all are God's children. And sympathy is gonna play on the part of the righteous, and it's never gonna be in your favor. And time after time, it's not us committing these acts of terrorism. It's white men. I mean, listen to the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. He sounds like a deranged man who's off his meds. Tiffany, play that clip.
And we are going to do that under President Trump's leadership. I don't care how. It could be a RICO charge, a conspiracy charge, conspiracy against the United States, insurrection, but we are going to do what it takes to dismantle the organizations and the entities that are fomenting riots, that are doxing, that are trying to inspire terrorism, and that are committing acts of wanton violence. It has to stop. And my message is to all of the domestic terrorists in this country spreading this evil hate: you want us to live in fear? We will not live in fear, but you will live in exile, because the power of law enforcement under President Trump's leadership will be used to find you, will be used to take away your money, take away your power, and if you've broken the law, to take away your freedom, Sean.
That man sounded like he had a finger in his ass the whole time he was up there spreading that bullshit. He is unbelievable. And it's crazy to me how you're blaming another party for its rhetoric and how dangerous it is, and you're the main contributors to America's problems. All people's problems. You are the common denominator.
Hello.
And Tiffany, hearing him talk about doxing, hearing him talk about spreading disinformation, they're the ones that do it. They immediately came on these media networks after this assassination and went directly at a party, blamed a party. This indoctrinated young man that allegedly assassinated this guy, he came from a family of Christianity, in a family that honored guns. The same thing you motherfuckers pour into the world every time. In this next clip by Lee McGowan from I Am Politics Girl, this breaks it all down for me. Like, this is the real problem, and she addresses it. Tiffany, play that clip.
So hi, I haven't spoken about the Charlie Kirk murder until now because we didn't know anything. And since my channel was created not to report the news but to make sense of it, I felt like the only responsible thing to do was to wait until there was more information. It now appears that the person who shot and killed right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk was like the majority of shooters in America, a young white male from a conservative pro-gun religious background. After being told for 2 straight days that the left had declared war on America, that the shooter was most likely trans, or in Congresswoman Nancy Mace's words, pro-tranny, after the Wall Street Journal published an article they had to later walk back that the bullets had a pro-trans message because it turned out to be just the markings of one of the world's biggest ammunition factories, they were wrong. We still don't know the motivation for the killing, but we will find out more in the coming days. But here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to put it in context, because I think the biggest takeaways we have right now are the following. We have a gun problem in America. People who are unhappy have easy access to high-powered firearms to take their unhappiness out on others. The 2 children who were shot in school the same day Kirk died were shot by a 16-year-old who had been radicalized online by white supremacist groups and had easy access to a handgun. After years of being told by our own law enforcement, including the FBI, that the majority of domestic terrorism is perpetrated by white extremist groups who are the greatest threat to our national security, we have done absolutely nothing but allow those groups to flourish and grow. Charlie Kirk himself was one of the people who grew that movement. You only need to talk to the Black women and minority groups and marginalized groups or immigrants he personally targeted to get a first-hand account. Or look back on any of his speeches or comments or debates to see that white Christian misogynistic narrative that he was preaching. Now, that does not mean that Charlie Kirk deserved to be shot. No one deserves to die in such a violent way. But we should question why this one death resonated so strongly with the same people who know school children die in the same horrific way every day but don't care. I want you to take what happened to Charlie Kirk and imagine that as a 6-year-old boy in class, or a 70-year-old grandmother at the grocery store, or a mother of 4 at Walmart. What is the difference? Is it that you saw it happen? That he felt like one of yours? That the event was so visceral and vicious that it shook you up? I understand that. But then let's take that as a lesson. That this kind of violence should be unacceptable to our country, and we should be doing everything we can to stop it.
Yeah, follow her. I am politics girl on Instagram. But also, too, I want to say this before I get back to the thing. They're now saying that he was living with a transgender woman. Like, so what if he was? And the irony of a couple things that have transpired since, this has all come to light. One in particular is that he actually said some lives will have to be lost to protect our Second Amendment rights.
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
And his life was one of them.
Message.
If that doesn't show the power of words or how your words can backfire, no pun intended, against you, I swear y'all gotta think about the things that come out your mouth. Freedom of speech ain't always free.
Amen. Amen.
But I have a message for all Black people and all my brown brothers and sisters. Stay out of those type of white people's business. Yeah, for generations, we've endured without their help. They are literally imploding right before our very eyes. But this message is actually for my white friends, allies, and family. You're gonna have to do some heavy lifting on this one. This energy, this disruptive nature that is clearly racist and classist, only you can diffuse. Because on the very same day this man was assassinated, there was a high school shooting by another indoctrinated white male where we lost young lives. People that did not speak out with hate and such disrespect towards races of people and genders of people. No one has mentioned those innocent lives that were taken. Sure, it was reported on news, but this thing has been sensationalized to the point where our president of these ununited states, from the Oval Office, mind you, said that we were going to put all flags at half staff and did not grieve, by the way, for the Democratic senator and wife that were wounded by gunshots, or the Minnesota House Speaker and her husband that were actually killed by another white man.
Do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to
to half-staff when Melissa Hordman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, who was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I would have if somebody had asked me.
These were actual public servants. He did not say anything about this from the Oval Office. He has not commented on many things that prior presidents would have commented on in support of the American people. But before I get off this topic, I have a conspiracy. Tiffany, give me the music. Ladies and gentlemen, white men are so enraged and frustrated, not only because they are in fear of not being a pure race, with all these multiracial babies entering the world, but poor whites aren't getting their piece of the pie. Yeah, they're being systemically placed with us. Despite all the promises of wealth and prosperity, you too, yes, you, are still struggling, and that's enough to make people want to go to war. Message. Don't let that go over your head. These are things, TKBS Nation, that make you go, All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Live from the Comments section. Tiffany, I know you got some comments over there.
Yes, sir, I do. And you already know people were loving last week's episode with you and David Banner. Y'all was coming with it. When I say y'all was educating the children, so much so Regina Heidi, who is new to the nation, said, yes, we need you all speaking life into the universe for all. Thanks to all of you guys.
Hey, Regina. Yeah, boo, listen, it was a pleasure to sit down with that brother. We go back and forth and come out with some amazing resources, answers, information that you might not have known. So I love sitting down with my brother David Banner. Salute to you. And make sure y'all support everything he do. Bars. Tiffany, I know we got some more comments over there.
And yes, sir, you already know. And once again, when I tell y'all were inspiring folks, and I think that it was because y'all kept it real on all aspects of the journey, from the professional side to the activism side.
That's what we do here.
And Tammy Miller 169 said, keep rising to the top. And that was actually following another brother's comment that said that y'all got him so inspired, he ain't letting up.
Keep rising to the top. We have to keep going. We cannot let up. A lot of people have been talking about, well, I'm moving to this place. I'm going back to Africa. I don't want to be here no more. If you were an ancestor, how would you feel if you knew generations later they gave up on all the things you worked so hard for them to benefit for? We can't stop. We built this motherfucker. Why would we stop? Do you not like the freedoms you have to wake up every day and have an opportunity? Do you not like having a military that is bigger than anyone's in the world? That makes me feel safe. There are things that are good about this country. We just got to make America great again. Tiffany, I know you got some comments over there, and I was not talking about his version of MAGA. I'm talking about the black version. Fuck down, try.
Exactly, because we do not fuck with him at all. P. Davis 9 said, yes, brother KB, striving to be the best version of myself, sending you and your beautiful family love and prayers for a great weekend. And that is from your As the World Turns, when you was telling everybody to get on they shit, but also take care of you.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. Ain't no fight to be had if you're not showing up as your full self. That means your brain got to be working, your heart got to be pumping. You know what I'm talking about? I appreciate that. I really take my time with the As the World Turns. I feel like, that doesn't get enough push because of the algorithm, but y'all coming on here commenting every week, letting me know that the message is spreading. I appreciate you tremendously. And speaking of that, it is now time for As the World Turns with Kenny Burns. In the immortal words of Public Enemy, fight the power. Yeah, I swear for God, it's time, child. I know it's been normalized to see violence and not have any real feelings towards it. They've been brainwashing us for years. The music, the video games, the constant reporting on news channels. Y'all think social media is the #1 consumed form of media? No, it's the news. But now everything we've seen or ever heard when it comes to violence is at our doorsteps. These folks out here actually saying Civil War weekly, like death and despair, don't come with those words. Facts. These fucking tariffs back and forth every week trying to go at China, India, and Russia. The bombing of boats in international waters saying that they were trying to attack drug smugglers. Disrespecting state government officials with the show of military force in our community does what? It shows that you're trying to be a dictator, sir, and you're not respecting the governors that govern these states, the mayors that police these states. This orange man done faked his own assassination, and now that someone has actually been assassinated on camera, you trying to make him Jesus Christ. Message. Project 2025 is almost complete, and the year ain't even over. Why do you think they've been going so hard the last 9 months? Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, open your eyes. Because I guarantee if you open them and watch the news, you won't see the Epstein thing no more. He actually sued somebody for billions of dollars for a thing that supposedly didn't exist. They published the birthday book and it exists. Come on, man. But it's gone away. The smoke and mirrors has been perfected by this administration. Sure, we can be frustrated. Sure, we got a lot to say about what's going on. But is the version that actually represents our history, our ancestors, does the version of burning it down really make sense? Yeah, we gotta burn it down as far as the way these motherfuckers are showing up in politics. We have to burn it down, meaning change the way that we do politics. Like change the way we police our communities, change the way we communicate with our neighbors. But ladies and gentlemen, wake up! Wake up! Because the real doubling down has to be on what our ancestors died for. The right to vote. Amen. Stop saying that. It does matter. The only reason this man is in office right now is because you, yes, you ignorant motherfuckers didn't show up to the polls. Facts. And if you did, you voted for him. Our ancestors knew that voting would level the playing field. You had people in their 20s doing this. They effectively showed us how to succeed in a system that wasn't built for us. They understood the assignment. But the question is, ladies and gentlemen, do you? Amen. Yes, you motherfuckers. Oh, you got me in a fucking pickle today. Tiffany talking about my gargling. Listen, go out there and be great. Tell everybody you know about the Kenny Burns Show. And do not forget, I swear for God, do not forget to like, comment, and share. I love you in real life. Let's get them up out of here, y'all. Ron, you gonna come over here and do the honors? You know, some of your friends just ain't shit, ladies and gentlemen. On the count of 3, say it from the shadows, like MAGA. 1, 2, 3. The dream is real. We need to hear your voice more, Ron. Peace. The dream is real.